What's up everyone, it's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. I did so well in the last video with Greg's home game and slow poker that I decided to follow them to Resorts World and play some 1-3.
What's up? It's your boy Greg. I hope you're having a great day.
Alright, that's enough screen time. Bankroll challenge going well, playing with them. So, we're gonna hop in. $400 buy-in at the 1-3 streets.
Big city.
$400 buy-in at the 1-3 streets. And we're gonna get rolling, try to win some money. We're starting off with a bomb pot. Let's go. All right, let's hop into the Resorts World 1-3 with $400 to start. I pick up 9-8 of hearts in the low jack. Very fun suited connector to play. And when the on-the-gun player opens it up to $10, I decide on making the call here. We're going to a flop, and the flop comes king 3-7 2 hearts. My opponent bets out $8 here, and pretty small sizing. And with my draw, I decided to take the aggressive route and raise it up to $25. And for $25, he makes the call. The turn comes a bink queen of hearts. And when he checks it over to me here and nailing the flush, definitely trying to get as much money in the middle and maybe get a little too greedy because I bet out $65 hoping to get more value, and he ends up folding. Thought he would have a king and be able to make the call, but it seems like he didn't have one. Regardless, he makes a pretty nice fold and nice way to start off this 1-3 session, winning a decent sized pot. Moving on to the next hand, I look down at pocket nines in early position here, and the under-the-gun player raises it up to $15. Definitely no decision to raise. I decide on just making the call, and when the button, another buddy slow poker makes videos on YouTube, he raises to $75. Facing this 3-bet versus an under-the-gun open and a +1 call must be pretty strong, and when the under-the-gun player decides to fold, I stare at this man, nice and slow, and I've watched a few of his videos and they're pretty good, but he just picks up premiums a lot of the time. So I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever folded pocket nines pre-flop before in my life, but here we are. I decide to let it go, respect my opponent's raise, and I fold it face up, and he's very nice enough to show that he had pocket aces. The absolute nuts. Yeah, that's going to be very much ahead, sir. Nice hand to him, and I guess showing a little bit of discipline, not calling the $75 and losing. This next short clip you'll see is me raising king 9 of diamonds under the gun to $11, then folding to the big blind to my right, who 3-bets to 35. Just pretty much believing him that he has a strong hand. And yeah, when I fold, he shows me the absolute nuts again, pocket queens. Do people 3-bet light in these stakes? Probably not, and it just shows that folding can be really profitable at times when you're running into it. All right, back on it with my suited connectors with 9-8 of clubs on the button. Under-the-gun player, Greg opens it up to $10, and I decide on a call. We're off to a flop, which comes queen 9-5 rainbow. He decides to bet out $7 here out of position, and I actually laugh out loud. A $7 bet. Here we are. It's 2 big blinds, and I make the call with middle pair, going to a turn which comes the 3 of hearts, brings in a backdoor flush draw, and my opponent size up again to 25. Sizing up makes a lot of sense here on a card that shouldn't change a whole lot, and maybe Greg could have some air balls. I've never played with him too much, so I make the call once again, being a little sticky, and we're off to a river which comes the 9 of hearts. Pretty cool card to see, improving to trips, but the backdoor flush draw did get there. Greg isn't scared about the backdoor flush draw. He bets once again to $50. Thinking now my hand is super strong, and maybe he's betting a strong queen for value, and definitely got a raise. I just don't know how much I can raise it to and get called, but I set the size up to 175, and Greg goes deep into the tank, and he actually ends up talking out loud, hoping the audio can show it. You guess, I'll show it.
I watch your vlogs. I know you. See, the thing is, I know you have some weird fucking bluffs here too.
What are you talking about?
I have ace queen. Is this good?
Oh, ace queen. It ends up showing me ace queen of diamonds and ends up folding. Cool.
Jack 10 of hearts? Yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
Suck out. Pretty sick fold by Greg. Nice discipline for him there. And yeah, makes a nice fold. And I found a way to suck out on the river. In the next interesting hand, I pick up ace queen of hearts in the hijack. A solid 1-3 player I'm familiar with opens it up to $15, and considering the relatively large sizing, it's a 5x the big blind raise, I decide on just making the call with a playable hand, and action folds to Greg in the small blind, and he actually ends up 3-betting to $65. The ungun player folds, and I have been getting 3-bet left and right in this session. I think this sizing is a little bit too small, and like I said, I have a good hand, even though these players are probably not 3-betting too light. Anyways, I think I'm getting the right price to make the call and see a flop in position. So here we are, hoping to see an ace or hearts. The flop comes Brick City, 10 high with some diamonds. It's the wrong red suit. Greg decides to continue and bet out $50, and I fold because I have a whole lot of nothing. I give $65 Greg's way, and he shows pocket kings. Nice premium, sir. It just looks like everyone has it today. After all of this up and down action, I look at my stack and I'm actually only up $8. And let's go back into battle with ace 7 of hearts and the low jack. There's a +1 raise to $15. I'm next to act, and I don't know. I probably should fold this here if I really wanted to make and maximize the amount of money I make. But I'm here to play hands and whatever. Maybe not the most profitable decision. I make the call. The cutoff makes the call as well. 3 ways to a flop of ace 6-6, which is not so bad with top pair. Action's gonna check around to the turn, which is the king of clubs. Brings in a backdoor flush draw, and when action checks to me, definitely need to bet for value, maybe charge some draws, charge a king. I bet 20 bucks, and both players make the call, which is very, very surprising. We're off to a river now, which comes the 4 of spades, so the draw breaks out, and maybe there's a chance I can still get value from a king. I bet out $55, trying to get a crying call, and when the cutoff folds, but the player on my right thinks about this decision for a while and ends up folding, saying he had a king. Man, really hard to get value from these players at this table. Everyone's playing well and everyone's making good folds, and I'm just trying to make some money for this bankroll challenge. Moving along, I pick up a premium this time, ace king in the cutoff. I raise it up to $10, and the player to my left on the button, buddy Kyle of mine, he 3-bets to 30. Action folds around to me. It's the same old story. Look, he might have a good hand, but mine is also really good. Playing out of position, button versus cutoff, definitely incentivized to 4-bet this one. Looking at a stack with about $300 in there, I'm trying to go for all of it. I 4-bet to $100. And for 100 total, my opponent makes the call. He's playing in position. And we're off to a flop, which comes ace jack 4 rainbow. What a beautiful flop to see. It's nice to hit top pair, top kicker. And for those reasons, I don't think I need to bet huge. I bet out $60 here, essentially sizing up for an all in on the turn. And for 60 bucks, he makes the call. He's coming along, and we're going to a turn, which comes a queen. Oh, man. Wanted to see a brick and just be able to comfortably go all in, but this board just looks really scary now for just one pair. Not a fun board to play, especially out of position. For those reasons, I decided to check, and my opponent does the unfortunate thing for me. He announces all in, and it's a total of $147, and I think this is just gross. Trying to find the hands that I beat here, and I guess the only hand I realistically beat would be like ace 10 or something like that, or calling for a chop with ace king he could have as well. But that seems really ambitious. He has all of the pocket queens, pocket jacks, ace jack, queen jack even. I don't actually know how I win this hand. He also can have ace queen as well. So yeah, once again, trying to exercise some discipline. I just believe that it was much more likely I was beat than ahead, so I let it go. And my opponent's nice enough to show me he did have a better hand, ace queen, got there on the turn, and luckily at least I got away from this one. All right, trying to come back and rebound. I have another premium, this time much better. It's kings in early position. There's an ungun limp, and I raised it up to $15. Definitely trying to get some money back, and my opponent makes the call. Going to a flop of ace jack deuce. Kings are just ace magnets, aren't they? This time, not the time I wanted to see an ace, and when he checks it over to me, I bet 10 bucks. You know, maybe I can get a crying call from a jack, and for $10, he makes the call. All right, so not feeling great about it. The turn is the 10 of diamonds. Board's a little bit more connected. I do have a straight draw now, and action's gonna go check, check. River is a 5. He checks once again, and when my opponent doesn't bet, I've got to think maybe kings can be good, so I go for thin value one more time. I bet $25, and he flicks in a call with ace 6 of hearts. cracked again. He looks like he had a good hand, and he's gonna win this one. Can I win a hand this session? I pick up ace-10 offsuit in the cutoff, raise it up to 10 bucks, and the small blind makes the call. Going to a flop of king-10 high, so middle pair, top kicker. He checks it over to me, and this is a board that should favor my range, and I have a good hand. Overall, I bet out $10 here, pretty small, trying to get value, and my opponent calls. When the turn comes an ace, now improving to 2 pair, pretty nice board, pretty nice card. He checks again and definitely sizing again, trying to get value now with my 2 pair. I bet out 30, and my opponent thinks about it for a little bit and ends up calling. All right, we've got action. In the river comes the 7 of spades. The backdoor spade draw got there, but I shouldn't be too concerned about it. This opponent only has like $100 left in his stack, and when he checks it over to me, I'm trying to go for all of it, and that allows me to go all in. Let's try to get the maximum here. My opponent tanks. He's not happy about it, so he clearly doesn't have a flush. He doesn't have a straight. He doesn't have a better 2 pair. And ultimately, he does flick in the call, commit to stack. I show the ace-10, and it is good enough to win. Gotta love that. Finally getting some of my money back from some earlier hands. It's nice to get the maximum out of this one. No need to take a breath, because the very next deal, we get involved in another big one. I pick up pocket kings once again. How many times can I pick up premiums in a session? Anyways, weird action here, because I was actually writing the notes for that ace-10 hand while playing this one. There was an ungun raise to $15, and I did not see it. So I thought action folded to me, and I put in $10 in the middle, which obviously is not valid. So all I did was flat call the $15 raise. Oops. Well, that's never going to happen for me with pocket kings, obviously, not intentional. I called the ungun player's raise of $15 with kings. Yep, that's what happened. Anyways, the player on my left makes the call, and then the big blind bails me out by raising to $75. My pretend fake trap with kings ends up working here, and it's obviously music to my ears. Everyone ends up folding over to me, and I get a really weird opportunity to re-raise. And I decided to bump up the price to $210 now. Very weird call, 4-bet. You're never gonna see this anywhere besides 1-3. Anyways, action folds around to slow poker here in the big blind, and it looks like he wants some pain. He announces all in. Seems like he has a big hand, and I'm just praying he doesn't have aces. I make the call, I cover his stack, and we are all in up against pocket queens. Let's try to win this one, but before you do, just hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It's queens versus kings, and we're on the right side of it. Let's see the run out.
I didn't see the raise.
The board ends up coming very, very clean and ship over the whole pot to me. It's a full $400 max buy-in. And $400 is, I guess, the advertising cost I had for today's video. So shout out to Slow Poker. Unfortunate bad beat for him here in this hand and session. Yeah, he makes some really cool videos on YouTube, so maybe check it out. And thank you for the $400 advertising fee. Shortly after this hand, I decide to rack up and call it a day. Whew, wow. This 1-3 session had it all. Vloggers, big names, fun times, good vibes, disciplined folds, and of course, luck boxing into Slow's pocket queens. Unfortunate for him, love the guy, but walking away with a profit when I didn't think I was ever going to is pretty fun. Game was great, it was just fun. I'm glad this vlog happened. Overall, really good time. I had a decision actually to either play like a 10-20 game that was pretty grindy or a fun 1-3 game for the bankable challenge. I'm glad I did this. It's more fun to play poker with friends opposed to just taking it seriously and trying to eke out every little bit of expected value in a grindy game. It's not great, but yeah, let's go over the numbers because this had everything. I mean, I folded a lot, made painful, disciplined folds that honestly I don't really make usually in some spots. But yeah, I was in the game for $560. So when I added on the extra 160 from the 400 max, I was just like, no way I'm ever gonna like come back and make money. Found a way, and I was out of the game for 967, which is a nice profit and another winning session, trending in the right direction upwards to the goal of $5,000. It's great. Thanks so much for watching this video. This was a fun night of poker at the 1-3 streets, and that's all I got. Thanks so much for watching. I'm gonna go to bed now. Have a great night. Peace.